What up, people? Just giving you all a second to get yourself settled while you listen to this good music in the background and while you all are getting ready. Hope you're having a great week. So, welcome back to part 2 of the 2020 plan. And today in this video, we're going to talk about how do we get there. Last week in the video, I spent time asking you all to spend the week thinking about your plan. And I hope by now when you're watching this video, you've thought about your goals and objectives and you've got a good list of things that you might want to do in 2020. And so today we're going to talk about how do we get there. And this is the second part in designing, implementing, and executing your next year plan, or as some of you might have developed goals that are going to take you into the next couple of years. So when we talk about how do we get there, last week, for recap for those of you who haven't, and I'm putting a link here so you can go back and watch video 1 from last week on part 1. And in it, I talk about thinking about goals that are smart, that are specific, that are measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. I want you to go back and watch part 1. It's about a 20-minute video. It's really some good information in thinking about the goals that you want. And so I'm gonna take a couple of examples that I got an email, got about 2 or 3 emails from folks, and I wanna utilize those examples to talk about how do we get there. And these are really strategies and tactics. And so when we think about it, last week you've got a goal, and then you've got a strategy, and then you've got tactics. And so we're not talking about the implementing yet. We're taking the idea phase now and we're mapping it out. And that's how we get there, right? If you're going anywhere, you need map, you need directions, you need to think about how you're going to get there. And I think that these are going to be some great examples for trying to achieve goals in a realistic in a very realistic manner. So, what are strategies and tactics? I think that's a really good place to begin. And so, every goal needs a strategy, and a strategy is the method of how you're going to get there. So one of the goals, and I think people always do this, and which is fine, right? Because it works for some, is thinking about weight loss and thinking about how to go on a journey about weight loss. So if you have a goal of, say, I want to lose weight in the next year, that goal doesn't necessarily, written in that space, does not fit the SMART, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. It doesn't fit the SMART formula. And so a SMART formula for losing weight is to say, I want to lose 15 pounds by April. I just use April because that's my birthday. By April of 2020, right? It's very specific. You want to lose weight. You know how much. It's measurable because I can measure my progress in it. It is achievable in that time frame. Realistically, it is achievable to lose 15 pounds in next 4 months. It is realistic if I commit myself to it, right? In that time frame, right? I got a 4-month window to lose 15 pounds, and I can do that very reasonable. What is not a SMART goal, right? And SMART goals are relative to the individual. Say I want to lose 100 pounds in 1 month. I don't know a lot of people who healthily lost 100 pounds in 1 month, right? Like I want to lose 100 pounds in January. That may not be realistic, right? Unless you may have surgery. I just don't know anyone who loses it naturally and healthily 100 pounds in 1 month, right? So you got to be specific. What is it that you want to do? I want to lose weight and I want to lose it measurable, right? That it's measurable. I want to lose 15 pounds in my time window, my frame. It is achievable. Is it achievable to lose 15 pounds? Yes. Is that realistic for my life, right? Realistic for your life. That's a part of it. And then it is time bound. Yes, I can do that in the next 4 months. And I can design a plan that's really going to get me there. All right. And so if we take the weight loss of losing 15 pounds and try to map out how do we get there, a goal of losing 15 pounds in 4 months is realistic for me. One strategy that I may need to do is, right, I may need to get me some workout attire because that might be something that I need. That's one strategy, is preparing myself for achieving this goal. A second strategy that I may need to do is to carve out time and be intentional in my schedule about when I'm going to work out, right? And so some people know that they are morning people, others know that they work out better in the evening. Some people are a little all over the place and that works for them. But you gotta figure out what works for your schedule, right? So I got gym attire, or if you don't necessarily have to buy gym attire, you got some things you can work out in around the house. I've set a time of when I'm going to do it. You may, if you've got the resources, get yourself a trainer or get yourself some accountability partners who can help you. Another strategy in that is that you may choose to work out maybe 3 times a week. Maybe that's realistic for your schedule, right? And so those are strategies and tactics, right? And so let's give a strategy. And so if one way that I'm going to do it is I'm going to say you're going to work out, right? Like the goal, lose 15 pounds. And one of those strategies is to work out 3 times a week. And a tactic in ensuring that you're working out your body 3 times a week, maybe I'm gonna do legs one day, I'm gonna do upper body another day, and then you're gonna do cardio on your 3rd day, right? And so those are tactics in how you plan to spend those 3 days working out, right? And so another tactic when I talked about working out maybe in the mornings, right? Another tactic to ensure it is that you're preparing yourself the night before. You're going to, another tactic, maybe I need to get to bed by a certain time. And what these strategies and tactics do is really about creating the consistency and the discipline that will help you to achieve the goals. And so most of the time, these goals aren't achieved because we don't have a plan, right? We just throw it out there and we just hope to the wind and maybe wish to the wind that it happens without a real plan about how we're going to get there. And again, each of these things are to you. They're smart, the smart plan for you. Specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. I think if you stick to those, it may really work out. So again, the goal of losing 15 pounds, and one of those strategies that I'm going to work out 3 times a week, and a tactic about how I'm going to spend my time in those 3 times a week. One day I'm gonna do legs, another day I'm gonna do upper body, and then on the last day I'm gonna do cardio. And for you, that may work. And you're going to continue to measure your progress, right? And so another strategy in that is I'm gonna work out 3 times a week. I'm going to try to lose 2 to 3 pounds each week, right? In the goal. right? So now we're keeping it measurable, right? So I'm working out 3 times a week as a strategy, and here's how I'm going to spend that time. And then I'm going to measure, I'm going to try to lose 2 to 3 pounds each week. So what else is that, right? So you've got another tactic in how you're going to do that, right, is you may have a workout chart and a regimen, right, that helps you to keep track of it. You're going to document it. There are several apps that help you do this on your phone. There's free ones. I'm sure if you connect with someone who's an avid person who exercises, they have some tools that you might be able to utilize in that as well. And so keeping track of how you're going to do it is a tactic of losing 2 to 3 pounds. Another strategy in that weight loss goal, maybe you're going to change your eating habits, right? And so for some, a strategy in changing your eating habits may be eating smaller portion sizes. It may be doing meal prep, right? For your lunch meals that may help you to do portion control, or even save money, right, in that aspect. So you're looking at those pieces. Another strategy could be, like I said, connecting with a workout partner, and maybe the 2 of you or how many of you set up calls. Some people utilize their social media, and when you see some people posting their gym pics, they're not posting, some people are posting it for vanity, and that's not the point. But some people are posting it so that their circle of friends or folks that they're working out with, who are sometimes all across the country, are holding each other accountable. Now, do you need to do it always in a public way? No, but however they choose to utilize it, that's on them. So they are posting it to keep each other accountable, so that they are being consistent with it, right? And then another tactic in this weight loss journey may be reading and digesting information that helps you do workouts correctly, right? And so you're going to try different workout routines or follow a certain pattern for a number of days, right? And so in this aspect, right, of workout, you've got body, mind, and soul, right? So something, really taking in information that's going to help you to remain consistent along those patterns, right? And so I've got a discipline track. I've got a tracker for it. I'm going to change my eating habits. I got somebody to hold me accountable to it, right? That's mapping out how you get there. So for you, if one of your goals and your plans is that you want to get on that weight loss journey, which a lot of people start at the beginning of the year and they stop because they really don't have a plan. They just say they want to go and they want to work out. Now, I love to eat, right? And when I do my workout plans, I'm very realistic. And so when I am consistent with it, I drop weight like that. But I like myself on a little thicker size. So whatever works for you, make it work for you. All right. So that was one of them. Another one is I got a conversation about someone who is wanting to buy a home. And buying a home is not necessarily something that you can just jump into depending on your own personal situation. And so if a strategy is that you want to just buy a home, right, that's not necessarily fitting the SMART tactic. So let's do something, right? Again, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound for you, your personal situation, right? And so how do we change I want to buy a home to something that's a little more realistic, right? And so let's use this goal as not within 1 year, but let's say your situation is of such where it may take you a little time, or you're not necessarily positioned in some aspect of your life where buying a home is what you want to do right now or what you can do right now, right? So let's say buying a home in the next 3 years, right? You want to purchase a home in the next 3 years in a specific area for a specific amount of money, right? And so say you want to buy a $200,000 home that's, a 2-story home, etc. Map out those details. and you want to do it by the close of the year in 2022, right? So if that's something that you want to do, or 2023, you want to do that in the next 3 years, one of those strategies may be, right, we're talking about strategies for buying a home, and say you're a first-time home buyer, right, is you're going to spend the next 6 months educating yourself on buying a home, right? That's a 6-month strategy. That is a measurable strategy, 6 months in buying it. And so a tactic on educating yourself, maybe you're going to take a class, right? You may take a 6-week class, or how many ever, for first-time home buyers. You may spend time working with a financial advisor, right, to prepare yourself. You may, another strategy in educating yourself is spending time and interviewing friends. And I say interviewing, but it could just be talking with friends who are home buyers and learning the ins and outs of it, right? So all of that goes into educating yourself. And so you create a plan of where I'm going to take some classes, I'm going to get a financial advisor, I'm going to get a realtor, I'm going to talk with my friends, and I'm just going to spend these one of the things I'm going to do in these next 6 months is just preparing my mind and making sure that I'm walking into this homeowner process as educated as possible, right? A second strategy that you may say is that you need to save money for a down payment on a home, right? You need $12,000 to look at your down payment, right? Now, for some, buying a home, you may want that as yours. Others, you may find in your education that there are programs that help you to find down payments, closing costs, those sorts of things. So just depending on your situation, but let's assume for you want to save the money for your down payment, right? And so what you want to do is save $12,000 for a down payment by the end of year 2, right? And so a tactic in that is I'm going to save X number of dollars per month. And it could be I'm going to cut back in spending in these places over the next year. And you're going to look at other opportunities that could bring in additional, let's use that as another strategy because that's broad enough. Right? Yeah. You're going to cut back. Let's say you're going to cut back, and that will change up some of your spending habits, right? You're going to cut back on, and let's be be specific about what you're going to do, right? So you're going to save however amount of money you're going to save. And I'm just pulling this, maybe your finances of such, right? You're going to save $500 a month. For the next 2 years, right? And that's going to be your down payment. And you're going to cut back spending in these places that's going to net you $200 more each month. So those are plans, right? And so that also, the good thing about those two strategies is you're saving money and you're also cutting back on spending. So if something happens, right, in one place where you may not be able to save, your cutting back in spending helps you to still meet your goal, right? And for some, that's realistic. Another plan that you might want to do in this home buyers is scouting out a location, right? Maybe areas that are building, subdivisions, townhomes, whatever it is that you're thinking about buying. You want to get on the market and identify what it is that you specifically want and value in a home. So spending the next year to research and understand the things that you want there in a home might be another piece. And another strategy that you might want to work out is your financial plan, right? overall is to create a new financial plan that will allow you to sustain living in a home and be prepared for some of the things that homeowners encounter. All right. So think about some of those things as tactics or as strategies and tactics to achieving your goal. Obviously, buying a home is much more complicated than what I just said, but that's why you want to create a plan that's going to allow you to be educated and prepare yourself for moving into and sustaining. So think about it from that aspect. It's not always necessarily about what's happening right now. It's about how do you create a plan that will help you sustain that too, right? And so thinking about your strategies and your tactics. And those are two pieces, right? Now, how do we get there? Really firmly and concretely map out your plan about how you're going to get from point A to point B. Now, in video number 3, we're going to talk about the designing it, not how do we get there, but let's put some time on these plans and let's talk about the executing, right? And we're going to continue to build upon these. And so in the next video, I've already hit on some of the themes of part 3, but I'm specifically going to talk about it where when we have the thought and we've designed a plan and now it's talking about executing. So join me for video number 3 in executing your 2020 plan, all right? Make sure to share and subscribe to my YouTube channel, right, for more good videos like this, all right? And I will see you all soon. Have a good one.